Now here we have a very special one. It's Arthas, the Holy Paladin. A lot of people will remember this guy. This is the clean version, the uncorrupted version, before he decided to become Death Knight, pick up Frostmourne, all of that good stuff, good lore. So let's do the support build for Omniknight real quick. You'll have your boots, of course. Boots can be made into Tranquil boots or Arcane boots, you can choose. Maybe you need some extra mana for some reason. You can also take Soul Ring on the lane. It's strength, it's armor, it's pretty much, this is level 2 ult, but level 1 ult is 1 pop and you'll have just enough mana, so it can be pretty useful. It's 1 pop heal, even the Heavenly Grace, so you can consider getting Soul Ring early. Now, what I do like to get always is Etherlands. The biggest reason being cast range. You don't want to get into fights, especially early. You just want to kind of stay back and do the heals, ults, and buffs. He's best at that, so you kind of need to live enough for this to reload, so you can actually give some value to your team in a fight. So, let's say Etherlands is done. It's not mandatory, of course, but I think it's a pretty good one, especially because it goes into Octane Core later on, which drops the cooldown on all of this, and getting a cooldown on your ult, especially if you have something like Scepter, it can be pretty great. So I would get that no matter what. I would just get it. It's also mana, it's mana generation. I think it's just great for this guy. Second one is pretty much up to you. I'd say Holy Locket is a great spell, single target. It's pretty much the same story. I like, it's funny, with the Abaddon, when he does become the corrupt Death Knight, so they're both in a way great like defenders of the team. Great heals. One guy has pure heals, the other guy has shield and coil. It still heals your allies no matter what, so it's pretty much the same thing. I like getting Locket. It's another instant cast 0 mana heal on a single target. You already have your heal, you have a buff. Why not get Locket as well? It doesn't cost you anything. It's some extra mana, extra health, some stats. It's pretty great. Also, one thing that I forgot, it amplifies all your heals. So yeah, I kind of keep forgetting about the passive effect, but the passive effect is pretty amazing with your purification spell. Pretty much 30% more on this. So yeah, I would actually say this is the mandatory one above all. You should definitely get Locket. Yeah. So after Locket, there's also always the good old Mechanism. Can't go wrong with Mechanism. You got some single target utility, you got some AoE stuff. Scepter can be made. I like Scepter when it's kind of like a game going more into your benefit. Maybe you're winning more fights. Maybe your team is playing smarter than the enemy team. You kind of get some extra money. Usually, you're not really going around and farming with this guy, so Scepter might be a difficult thing to get. But nonetheless, you can be anywhere. Your allies will still get hit by ult. Scepter also gives 40% stat resist. So people like to complain that this only helps with physical damage. With Scepter is kinda almost 50% with spell damage as well, because it's kinda like Ursa's ult in a way. Not that strong, but you get the benefits. So it can be a pretty cool item to get. It just depends, like I said, if you'll get to that point with the money thing. Some other utility stuff you can get is Force Staff. There's also Glimmer Cape option. Maybe your team kind of have trouble getting away, or there's not enough movement stuff on them. Maybe they get maybe enemy team has a lot of slows, continuous slows mixed with stuns, so having Force Staff can be pretty great for you as well to just get closer to the fight if you're out of range for these. It's all of these items are just are kind of made for this type of support anyways. You can just shuffle any of these, but I would say like Locket and Elderlands is something that I would almost always get, maybe even Mechanism because of AoE, and then just pick and choose one of these. Now there's also Aeon Disc. If you really don't want to die if they catch you, or if there's somebody maybe like Void Spirit that just does just attacks you, kills you immediately. So this kind of breaks you away from the infinite bash that he has on you. Or not, like infinite bash is for troll. Let's say troll attacks you. It also works on fastest void soul, but let's say it's troll. You kinda get the strong dispel, you break away from the bash, you get force step to push you away further. You're kinda almost always safe at that point, then you can do all of your spells. Maybe it's not too late to help your team at that point. So force step against those heroes or against heavy slows, maybe there's Bristleback, it can be pretty great. Yeah, combined with Aeon Disc especially. There's also drums. All of that can be made into, I forgot the name, Boots of Bearing. Yeah, similar effect, but gives everybody movement speed. But it's kind of like all put into boots, so maybe you get like one more slot to get some other item. Lotus Orb can be great. You should be aware though that the hero then might become very clicky. You got 4 spells, or let's say 3 active spells, 1 big one. You have to press all of these. You have to press Mechanism, have to press Locket, have to press Force. If you have drums, you have to press drums. So you can get a lot of at this point you have to play really quick. So I imagine a lot of people would just go something like this just to relieve the button pressing a bit. Might not even make one of these, so it's just easier to play the hero. I've seen it many times, especially like in the early stage when people just start learning him. That's pretty much it. Shard is basically something like Lifestealer now. You just pay to have your old skill back. Lifestealer being more from Dota 1. I mean, this was already there. It's not like that far away like with Lifestealer. This is just recently changed. And not that recently, but kind of recently. So it's a pretty big AoE, pretty big slow. If you have some extra money, you can put it into the shard. It's not needed at all. You can just decide. It's not that amazing. Usually like there's always heroes that can just kind of ignore this or just kill you and be like, yeah man, you can slow me down, I'm just gonna kill you instead. I'm not even gonna run. So it's kind of like you deciding, seeing the enemy pick and be like, okay, slow, AoE slow can be really great, or maybe it's just useless for whatever reason. Maybe there's a lot of Black Kings, maybe there's leaps, jumps, and then this kind of becomes hard to get any value out of. Let's see the talent tree. Now, you're not gonna take damage, you're gonna take Heavenly Grace. On your lane also I forgot to mention, you just max these two. One is instant heal and damage if the enemy is close enough. The second one is like strength buff, which is always health on any hero. It's regeneration, like a dot heal. And then also if they have any debuffs on them, it gets amplified. Something like when Necro kills a creep with a passive, he kind of gets health and mana going back. So if somebody is maybe even wait until they get hit with any debuff and then you do the Heavenly Grace. If it's not too late to cast it and wait. So you would just max these. So of course you're gonna get the Grace duration. You are playing support. What are you gonna do with damage? Nothing. You take the right one. Second one, it's I would say really interesting. Guardian Angel is huge. 30 seconds puts it to 90 seconds. Maybe you have maybe you're just what's it called? Maybe you're just you're probably not, you can't really rush Octarine Core. But let's say at some point you get Octarine Core, it's gonna get great value out of this. Game kinda needs to go longer though, so I would just pick Purification instead, because this is the instant value. This also becomes better, yeah, if you have Scepter, of course. Then it's much more value, so you can maybe decide. If I'm gonna make Scepter, maybe I should take this then. It's not an easy choice, but this is the instant value, I would say. In my opinion, at least. Being able to cast more frequently your heals. And then third one, well, right one, of course. You're already taking the Heavenly Grace like extended time. Why not get it even more buffed? So I would take level 20, the right one. Hammer of Purity, it's not that great for that supporting like role. Just get these, it's pretty good. Last one I would say is just like more heal, right? You're not going for any type of damage, you're not making those things. So you already have Heavenly Grace buffed, there's another buff, and then take a buff for the first spell. This can be your ult buff or further first spell buff. It's up to you, but I would always take the clear supporting type of talent. Kind of like with Abaddon, taking like more, the shield can tank more damage or something for the core. I forgot what he has, but usually, yeah, if you're going support, you should just take support stuff. Pretty much you can just look at it, go all the right side. All of this is fine. So I think that's it. Lotus Orb, maybe if there's some nasty hacks, like maybe there's Lion playing. This can be great. It works even against Rat King. It's a nice way to kinda get him immediately stunned and kinda stop him not being able to do those early like truckload of hits. Yeah, it also works on the, maybe there's Ogre Magi. Pretty great against Ogre. So yeah, some heroes can be taken by surprise by this, and then you can immediately kill them as a result. But yeah, that's kinda optional. So I think that's it. I don't think I missed anything here. Yeah, I guess Solar Crest can also work, but that's something that I like making more for heroes like Venge, because you get like a passive armor reduction, not a passive castable armor reduction, and then plus Crest, so it looks like a lot more value. But yeah, Crest is also an option. Some people also make Refresher as another option. I forgot about Refresher. Let's say you have as a place it anywhere. Let's say you got Refresher plus the Scepter. Like things can get pretty crazy. 40% stat, completely immune to physical damage. You kind of just stay kind of back, so you don't get killed early. Yeah, I think it can be pretty insane if you can get that sort of money and combine these. They have to sit through like what, 20 seconds? It's 20 seconds of complete physical immunity and 40% on spells. Let's just call it spell immunity. 40% reduced spell damage. Let's just call it like that. So yeah, that could be pretty interesting. Let's say maybe you have another pick in your game. Maybe there's a silencer, so they can't even get their spells going. Maybe even silencer goes for Refresher. Yeah, like there's some really fun stuff you can test with your friends, maybe if they want to do that stuff. But yeah, that's Omni. That's all. This is the Arthas, the pure version, and I'll see you guys in the next one.